Happy Sunday, my grand littles. I hope you're doing great. And I want to wish you a very happy new year. When you get older like Graham Ninny is, the years seem to go faster and faster and faster. But I remember when I was your age, they were long. But I hope this is a good one for you. It's Sunday. Are you ready? Let's read our arch book of the day. Today's is called The Little Boat That Almost Sank. Get comfy. I like this one, as you know. And I want to thank Mary Warren and Pictures by Kavita Rhoda. Thank you, Mary and Kavita. This is based on Matthew chapter 14 and Mark chapter 6 in the Bible, but Mary adapted it for you. Thank you, Mary and Kavita, for the pictures if you can see them. I am tired, said Jesus to his friends one evening. I will send the crowds away, and then I must go into the hills alone and talk to God. You men row across the lake in your boat, and I will meet you after a while. Wow. I don't remember Jesus saying how tired he was before. Do you? The sun had set like an enormous red balloon, floating down to the edge of the sky. Oh, I love a beautiful sunset. What about you? Do you like beautiful sunsets? And now the birds tucked their heads under their wings to sleep, and the flowers folded themselves quietly for the night, and the stars prickled their sparkly way into the great black blanket of night. Clearly, it's getting dark. That's how we know it's almost bedtime. Peter raised his hands in prayer. I will shove the boat off, said James to his friends as they took up the oars. The only sound was the soft sound of wind whooshing the waves and the soft slap of oars dripping in the water. Have you ever gone on a kayak or a boat or a canoe? Well, kayak and canoe are little boats, but ever used an oar to go fast? The wind is getting worse, said John, after they had rowed for a bit. We want to make our boat go one way, but the wind is starting to push it the other way. That can be very frustrating. Sometimes people say it's like going upstream without a paddle. By then, the sound of the wind had become like the roar of an angry lion. The little waves turned to big waves, and the big waves thumped and bumped and rocked the boat and splashed water into it. Oh, that sounds very scary. It's no longer the calm water it was. I'm scared, shouted Andrew, above the noise of the wind and the boom of the waves. I'm a fisherman and have been in rough water many times, but this is terrible. I am scared. Oh, he'd had experience and he still thought this was really scary. I am too, shouted Peter. If Jesus were here, I would not feel so scared. I wish he'd come with us, called another man, wet and trembling and afraid. Sounds like they're all frightened due to the circumstances. When Jesus looked out from the top of the hill, he could see the boat rocking in the moonlight and all of the men pulling hard at the oars. That is a strong wind, he said to himself. It is the middle of the night and they're getting nowhere. They must be wet and cold and likely frightened. Jesus knows us so well because they sure were. Down the hill went Jesus, down the hill and over the rocks, down in the dark, until he got to the shore. Okay, he's on the edge of the water now. What's he gonna do? It's bad out there. The wind hissed and the waves roared and the boat rocked and the men trembled, afraid. Then they saw Jesus walking toward them on the water. They were stiff with fear. A ghost! ghost, they screamed. The storm is bad enough, but now a ghost? Of course, they didn't think a person could walk on water. And really, only Jesus can. Or through Jesus, we can have help. But over the hiss of the wind and the boom of the waves and the cries of the men came a voice they knew. It is I. Do not be afraid. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, called Peter. If that is really you, please tell me to come to you on the water. He wanted to see if he could go to Jesus on top of the water. In the darkness, above the roar of the wind, Jesus said quietly, "Come, Peter, come." Peter climbed over the side of the boat, and looking ahead at Jesus, he felt brave. He took some steps out on the water, focused on Jesus. But suddenly the waves thundered in his ears. Instead of looking at Jesus, he looked down. Uh-oh. Always better to look up. Stay focused on Jesus. What's going to happen as he looked down? Oh no, I cannot do it, he thought to himself. And he began to sink. Lord, help, he cried. Jesus quickly stretched his arm and caught him. Peter, Peter, you thought you could not do it? Why don't you have more faith in me? Well, it seemed impossible what Jesus asked him to do. But Jesus knew if he asked him to do something, he could help him through it. Together they climbed into the boat. The wind stopped roaring and the waves stopped pounding and the boat stopped rocking. And there came again the gentle whoosh of the waves and the soft slap of the oars dripping in water. Jesus, whispered Peter and Andrew and all of the men, you can make a storm go away. You can make the winds hush. When you are with us, we're not afraid. They felt Jesus' calm, peaceful spirit. I hope you look to Jesus, and if you look to him, you don't have to be afraid either. Stay hopeful, stay true, and be wonderful, special little you.